in Portland. They just declared it a riot. The riot police have started pushing people through town. No viewers.
Now by moving to the south and west. Tear gas and other crowd control munitions may be deployed. Leave the area now.
So if you see, I walked peacefully through there. Nobody. I just walked peacefully through the police line. They see me filming. I had my hands up. I was not a menace, so they did not have trouble with me at all. Somebody threw something pretty heavy towards the police. Just about 20, maybe 10 minutes ago, it got labeled a riot. People broke the front doors to the federal building down, the glass doors. Federal police came out and started spraying and peppering people with pepper spray and bullets. These are Portland police now. They just pushed everybody out of the 3 parks that are the protest parks, I guess. So they are letting some smoke off there. I don't know if that's tear gas. Fence behind me.
You must leave the area now by moving to the south and west. Tear gas and other crowd control munitions may be deployed. Leave the area
because
now.
I'm doing a mask today. So if you see,
this is the Portland Police
regardless of what a lot of independent journalists say, and regardless of a lot of news media say, Portland is pretty soft-handed on the rioters. And I'm evidence of that. You saw me just walk through the police line. They let me through easily.
This has been declared a riot. You must leave the area now by moving to the south and west. Tear gas and other crowd control munitions may be deployed. Leave the area now.
So there's only, I would say, somewhere hovering around 100, probably less, well less than 100 people here. Anybody got any questions? So we're here at Main Street and 6th Avenue in Southwest Portland, Oregon. This is the Melting Pot there, restaurant. It's McDonald's there. So this started all tonight with a gathering of 200 to 300 people in front of the Justice Center, in front of the federal building, actually. For some reason, several days ago, the city and municipalities significantly boarded up all the entrances and the walkways to the outer Justice Center. And the building next door is the federal building, and they removed all of the boarding and plywood off of the windows there for some reason. The only thing I can think that they would have done that for.
Police Bureau. This has been declared a riot. You must leave the area now by moving to the south and west. Tear gas and other crowd control munitions may be deployed. Leave the area now.
So the only reason I can think that they would have boarded the Justice Center up and took the boards off of the windows to the federal building is to target the protesters to the front of the federal building. And my thinking on that, why that would be a bad thing for protesters, is because if you do the same crime on federal property versus state or city property, you get several times fold the criminal punishment. You can go to jail for years for federal crimes that are nothing if they're not federal. And this is coming from someone that is a little bit right of center, so I'm not a liberal. I have no reason to be painting the government or the police out to be tricking people, but you tell me, why else would they board up the Justice Center, take the boards off of the federal building, except to target the protesters' attention to the federal building? So this is what they usually do when it's not too violent or criminal of a riot. They just move a couple yards, pushes down to the block, they stop, or pushes a little farther and they'll stop.
Motherfucker, show them you're not afraid.
You say, oh, so you think the boards might have been torn down? But no, I heard, I talked to a live streamer, another live streamer. He's a far left guy. I would describe him that way. And he said that the boards on the federal building have been down for several days, and it was basically the same time they boarded up the MoMA building.
Officers are disengaging.
So the bond.
Do not follow officers. If you do, you may be subject to force.
That's different.
Officers are disengaging. Do not follow officers. If you do, you may be subject to force.
That's a new tactic. I haven't seen them do that before. But anyway, so the bonfire that destroyed or damaged the elk statue last night was, well, that was last night. And those boards were, I'm told, were taken off of the federal building several days ago. You're going to blowtorch a bunch of gas before they leave too. Blow a bunch of gas. Oh. Yeah, there's a little bit of tear gas.
Officers are disengaging. Do not
lingering in
follow
the air. There's not much here right now. I'm very sensitive to it. I saw a gas canister go off a couple weeks ago, like 2 blocks from me, and like instantly I started feeling it in my throat and my mouth. I'm just wearing a bandana right now over my nose and mouth. I didn't bring a gas mask today. I'm gonna hop up on a ledge here and get a little bit of a better picture. There's a tree there, so I'm gonna step in front of you, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
How many protesters do you guys think this is? So I'm in front of I think this is a federal courthouse too. And once you get that stuff in your throat, it kind of irritates for a while. Do you guys know if this is pretty much the main group, or did we get split up? Is there another? Okay, there's no other demonstration.
There used to be more, but they quit as far as I know. There was Rose City Justice and another group on the east side.
Yeah.
They called an end to meetings.
Well, what I mean is when we were first demonstrating about an hour or two ago in front of the building, there was probably around 300 people. I'm guessing less than 150 people now, so half the people are gone already.
I think that's when the police start shooting shit and stuff happens. Some of the people bail.
Follow officers. If you do, you may be subject to force.
Yeah, people have been out at the Justice Center every night for 5
Do not
weeks.
follow officers. If you do, you may be subject to force. Officers are disengaging. Do not follow officers. If you do, you may be subject to force.
This is kind of interesting, huh? Because usually they break us up into smaller groups before they do anything like this.
This makes me wonder if somebody told them to fucking do this instead of be violent as fuck like usual.
Well, I'm live streaming right now. One of my people on here was mentioning that they just put a lawsuit or a law order or something to a restraining order on the city to stop arresting and knocking journalists over.
Yep.
Because that's been, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's been the claim the last week.
There was a class action lawsuit.
Yeah. Well, what I mean is that I've seen throughout the last month, I was actually started documenting because I don't like all the mainstream media coverage, but I've also seen a lot of the independent journalists, like, pretty much lying. They go up and put themselves in a situation and then provoke the police. I'm not saying all of them, but I witnessed it a bunch of times, and it was upsetting me because I want to see the truth, and I know other people want to see the truth. It doesn't matter what kind of spin you on it, right? It's just the same as if the mainstream media get out here and say something crazy, as if a independent journalist gets out there and just walks right up at a fast pace into a police officer's spot, and then he's like, "Oh, he attacked me," you know?
Also,
I
once
saw
you
that happen.
involve yourself, you lose the objectivity.
Yes.
So I know they carry a med kit and I see on the side I cover people, and that's my involvement. I'm not like throwing shit saying "fuck you, police," but this is the calmest I've ever seen it. Like this is fucking crazy, dude.
Well,
like,
there's not very many people
They
here.
would normally even with this many people or less, they'd throw flashbangs, they'd hit us, they'd throw us to the ground, they'd punch people, they'd shoot us with munitions.
Yeah, I've been here too. I've been documenting this for since the first night of the riots.
Oh,
if you want to check
what
later,
I'm talking about, man.
I've got a lot of that videos on YouTube.
I'd love to see your shit.
Villain
man, sure.
Phoenix. Villain Phoenix. I'm not a liberal. I'm a little bit left. I'm a little bit right of center.
I was checking on her.
I thought you were seeing a cop come out because I think this is a federal building too.
They were fucking showing up behind us.
But anyways, Villain Phoenix on YouTube. Villain_Phoenix on Twitter. I was at Chop during the active shooter the other day. And I got the majority of. Have you seen any footage of that?
No.
I got some amazing video there of gunmen running around. I transported. I carried one of the bodies to the car and held him in my lap on the way to the hospital. I'm gonna head back into this.
Hey, man. Oh, 5 you online. Stay safe.
Right, man. Yeah, this is a very small group tonight. I don't think there is. Thanks for checking on that for me. Just sometimes when they break us up, it ends up to being like several mini little factions throughout the town. But yeah, thanks for confirming that. This is pretty much the whole of the protesters right here. This guy, what do you think is in this cart? Med stuff? And I was hoping it was snacks. Sometimes they put a cart full of snacks and push it around. I'm thirsty after that gas. I barely got gassed. I mean, I was probably at least a block away from the gas. I know you guys saw the gas get opened up a couple yards away from me, but it stays in that spot for a little bit. But anyways, I got in my throat, so my throat's a little irritated right now. Really coughing like hell tomorrow. 12 streamers out there, not counting you. Right on. This guy right here streaming. There's that guy. I call him the pole. I see him everywhere. Might be more than one him. But it's the same giant, it's like window washing pole with like black duct tape holding the camera up there. I saw him here a bunch of times, and I saw him up in the Chop for a little while. So this guy named Eric, awesome dude. He's a vet, right on. See, if you know Eric, the vet pole guy, is he conservative or liberal? I was scared up in Chop because I'm not a far right. Don't people call me a fascist, but they're completely ignorant. I'm an anarchist, not this kind of anarchist. I believe that I believe in law and order, but I don't believe in rulers that you can't opt out of. Like I don't like voting because I feel like it's a puppet game for you, like to think that you have some power, but you can't opt out. Like let's say that the political regime that takes over the municipality that you live in, where do you go? You know, you can't just opt out. Like they make some crazy laws, you can't opt out of that system. But anyways, my point was I'm a little right of center. So I was kind of a little undercover in Chop because I was afraid that people would attack me just for not agreeing with everything. But I want freedom for everybody, man. If you're not hurting somebody else, you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want to do. Do people cuss a lot on streams? Or is that like a no-no? Does that offend people and try to lose viewers? He is center left. He wears a sign that says P4 veteran. That's cool. You're Eric? Eric? I'm Villain Phoenix. I'm doing my first Twitch live stream. People are saying that you're a good guy. You're a peaceful protester veteran. They call you left,
because I know you're
center
going to
left.
need them to get home.
Yeah. I'm Villain Phoenix.
Well,
You can find me, like, if you know my name, just find me on Facebook and let me know what you're up to.
Okay. I filmed the. I was live, not live. I was tweeting live out of the active shooter in Chop. Most of the video of the gunman is my footage.
I guess we're up against some more people or something.
Yeah.
Be safe, man.
You too, man. You've been up to Chop 2 or someone else?
I
has
have
the
a
same setup as
missing iPhone and
you? Yeah, I saw you up there. I recognize your phone, man.
but I found by the wrong person.
Yeah. All right, check me out, Villain Phoenix. He seems like a good guy. So that press guy, he's an older guy. I see him at some events. Usually he's not here when it's a little rowdy. But we were talking about the statue earlier that they tore down, the elk statue that's missing right there. There's people standing there. And he was wondering why the hell they tore that down when you have I'll walk over here. I think this is Lonsdale Park. So up there, this podium, this tall pyre here has an old-timey like I don't know. He's got like a gold miner's hat on, but anyways, he's a soldier, and that is the Oregon Volunteer Infantry monument. So So that has some political connotations of war, and whatever you believe, I think you could understand why certain people that believe certain things would target that statue. And I'll walk over here to the next park and show you. So nothing's really going on right now. There's a little bit of fireworks going on. So the Portland police usually, they're real slow to act. They'll warn and warn and warn before they go in. It's very rare that just something pops off and then. So this is the statue that everybody would have assumed would have gotten torn down by now with everything that's going on. So these are like white settlers. There's a wagon wheel and a kid and a wife and pointing west. And some people are saying that means it's an allusion to manifest destiny and that sort of thing. Can't really read it right now, but anyway. So everybody, and he's got a rifle next to him. So it's just weird. But I think it just was a fact that this statue has been kind of a hangout center during these protests. People play music there. They set up little hibachi grills and cook there. And it's a place where people would climb up on the elk and they could see above the crowd and see when the police was coming. So they set a pretty good bonfire all around this last night. You can see it on a bunch of people's Twitters. But this masonry got destroyed. I assume that was from the heat of the bonfire. It caused the masonry to crack. And nobody that I've talked to said that they saw any bombs or sledgehammers or anything. So I think it was just the heat of the bonfire caused the masonry to crack and fall apart. I try to climb up here in this room.
Yes, me, Teddy.
I'm gonna come up behind you, bud. I'm coming up behind you. Excuse me. So I'm live streaming. You guys want to be on live stream or no? You want to keep it off you? Oh yeah, I'll keep it off you. Whew. So this is on top of the podium for the elk statue that was removed today. So not very many people here.
That's actually like my cover photo on Facebook. Is someone's tagged
The
gas.
police came by and broke the crowd up, pushed them down the street, and then they left, and everybody came back. So I'm gonna hop down. I'll go take some more video of the broken windows entrance to the federal building. Let me read the thing here. Where Eric got shot in the penis with a rubber bullet. How the hell he's even walking? So you're serious? He actually got shot? I thought that was a joke. Someone's ruined umbrella. They use those to deflect the things that the police shoot at us. So there's a little open like peephole up there. They just close it, but they're shining their lasers in there to keep them from looking out. So here's what I'm describing. I'm gonna give you a walkthrough real quick of the strangeness that I can only describe as a tactic to direct the protesters to more trouble. So this is the Justice Center. This is a county building, and so it's not any special property as far as federal property goes. The Justice Center. This is where the see that row of lights up there? That's the jail, the county jail up there. That's their yard. And every once in a while in the protest, you'll see lights flickering on and off up there. Somehow it's the protesters the prisoners manipulating the lights. None of that right now. So this has been the focus of the protests for the past month, this building here. Usually this street is where everybody's at, and the park behind me is where, oh look, they just lit the, see I told you, they just lit the wagon wheel statue on fire. So let me finish this real quick. That's gonna take a second to start burning. But so, county building, they boarded it all up a couple days ago. Federal building over there, they just took all the boards off of the glass and windows and entrance. And the only thing I think to cause that, or the thinking behind that, is to direct the targets of the protesters to that federal property. And then the federal law enforcement, that's actually not Portland property, that's federal property. So that would direct the protesters' attention to windows that can easily be broken and destruction that can be done, so that if they do get arrested, they get a federal crime and not just a normal crime. And also the federal police have different rules of engagement. So I think that might be, I was gonna say it was a city trying to get the federal police to put their hands in it, but the federal police took the buildings or the boards off, so they had something involved in that decision. So this is the wagon wheel statue. I was just talking about how this would be a target, and it didn't make sense that the elk was. Does anybody know the name of this statue? No? Nobody knows the name of the statue?
It's called the Weird Manifest Destiny statue.
So, if any of you want to look up what the name of this statue is, it's dedicated to President Thomas Jefferson. I can't remember the name of it. It's just a little bit of burning debris. That's not really going to do anything to the statue. So he's on his stream. Oh man, this sucks. So it's like a rubber bullet or just a mace ball that he got shot in the penis with.
Right. They've got something going on. They have a plan. That's kind of why I thought we were going to be kettled right then, because they're like, don't follow the officers. I thought they were going to arrest us.
Firework in there. Step back a little bit in case they've got a mortar in there and they don't realize it. Everybody's spread out. People a little more timid are back there towards 4th Street so they can run away if the riot police come in again. Not very many people out there tonight.
I'm going away from that big and bad.
This will be my practice run on my first live stream, my first use of Twitch. Is Twitch the preferred live streaming platform? I know some people go live on Facebook. I've never done that. I don't like the Facebook app. But I'll download that if it's good to. I see some people live streaming on multiple platforms. I'm gonna try. I don't know how you do that, because the minute I switched out of the screen for Twitch, it shut down the live stream earlier. I tried to go in and tweet some stuff, and Twitch is much better than Facebook or YouTube. You can live stream on YouTube too. I'm new to all this. Like when the riots broke down in Portland, I just came out with my iPhone and started recording it, and I'm slowly learning how to do all this stuff. Started a YouTube channel. So I got 9 viewers right now. Set up a mortar in the street down there. Pretty loud. It caused Kazoo Man. He's got a mean kazoo game going on over there. But how are you guys finding out about this Twitch? Are you guys followers of mine on Facebook or Twitter? Or did you just find the stream going? How did you find the stream? Yeah, I have a small audience on my Facebook page. Not much of an audience there. Most of my audience has been grown on Twitter. I had like around 90 followers the other day, and then I live streamed during that active shooter. Not live stream. I live tweeted during that active shooter at Chop, and then now I've got over like close to 650 on Twitter now. This is all very new to me. Yeah, I got live streaming on Concrete Reporting. So I watched him live streaming the breakup of Chaz the other day at Chop, and he seems like he's actually. When I talked to him, he seemed like he was trying to put out a neutral vibe, but from what I've seen when things were going down there, he seems like to be left and for all the protests there. Not saying that's bad or not, but I didn't know that. But anyways, one of my main goals, what I want to happen is for the left and the right to talk more. That's why I'm interviewing the people at the protest, because I want people to see what they're thinking. I try really hard not to make people look stupid and not to make any gotcha things. I just want to hear what people think, and I want to share it so that that was nice. Caught that. But I want people to start talking more so there's less violence and unrest. Like, I don't think anybody on either side of the political spectrum wants a civil war to break out. And it sounds crazy, but it's a potential if things keep going down this road. Why are they trying to burn a statue? Just, it's what they do to do something at these protests. This is a settler statue. It's a man and his wife and their child. They've got a rifle and a wagon wheel next to them. People say it has to do with manifest destiny, and he's pointing west. That's manifest destiny. So people are saying that this is like colonialism and white supremacy. I don't necessarily believe all that. I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much. Do you know what the name of the statue is?
No.
No? It doesn't say the name on the front. Oh, here's some more writing on the side here. I don't know. I don't know what the name of that is. Bill and Phoenix, live stream on Twitter right now. Or not Twitter, Twitch. That shows how good I am with all this. Are you keeping that truck, huh? Did he just drive through the caution tape, or did that already get turned down? My mouth is so dry after that gas. I handed out Gatorades earlier. Do you guys want me to go look at anything or show you anything? The only thing I can think of is walk over to the Federal Building and show the broken windows and the broken entryway again. Promised Land. So he's planning to take down elk statue after fires last night. Yeah, they already did take it down. I filmed that already. They took it down earlier this morning. That's the elk statue right here. So where those guys are standing up top of the platform there is where the elk statue was. You can see a picture of it burning from last night on my Twitter at villain_Phoenix. And there's also a picture there in the comments of that tweet with the original statue on it. So that's where the elk statue used to be. The city took it down this morning. From people that were here after the aftermath of the fire, they say that the statue wasn't actually damaged. The city just removed it. Still trying to decide if I want to openly film people's faces just for being here, if I want to selectively do it. So here's some damage to the masonry. This is the wall to the fountain pool below the statue podium.
I found it.
Illegal for blacks to move into Oregon the entire time it was a territory. Yeah, they had up until like just a decade ago or so you could still find. So this is the Federal Building. It sounds like they're shooting mace bullets. You can see these dust pops. That little bit. Sensitive to this. I'm very sensitive to this stuff. I gotta walk away for a minute. You got. Oh, damn it. So the Federal Building, the Federal Police are shooting mace balls at the protesters here. That stuff is unpleasant. So that's the door they broke down. So I'm gonna approach here. Granted, they're not under the same rules, and the stand down order that the city of Portland has been given to not arrest or attack journalists, but this is federal property, so it's different rules and laws. So you guys are aware this is federal property. I'm not sure if they're under the same guidelines. So you're aware this is federal. Hey,
wait now.
just so you're aware this is federal property, so I don't know if they're under the same restrictions as Portland is right now.
Oh, interesting. So that means being on the street made you a little bit smarter.
Yeah. So this is Federal Police there. They're, I don't know if I can zoom. I can't zoom on this. But Federal Police there guarding the doors. The protesters broke down the door earlier and breached the building. And the police came out and gas with can sprays of mace and pepper bullets. That's interesting. It's like some can of something just busted open. So the Federal Police putting out a fire there, shooting pepper bullets. I got my hands in the air. They're not under the same rules, so I'm going to back up a little bit. I don't want them to shoot me. I don't know what rules they have for journalists right now. Come repeating myself, I'm sorry, but someone just told me earlier that Portland just got a restraining order. That's what I'm looking for, to stop arresting or tackling or harming or using force against journalists. So here's the protest crowd. Not very big, not very many people here. You hurt? Got a little, that's probably just for pipe. You got a little soot on your face. You want to say anything on live stream?
Black Lives Matter. That's really all I know to say.
Yeah?
Black Lives Matter.
What
It's fucked up that they keep killing people. Stop fucking killing people.
Sorry, I'm coughing I'm really sensitive
No, I got
to
a nice whiff of it too.
I'm really sensitive to it.
Anything? Let me go get you some.
I should probably go get some water. Thanks, man. I'm gonna go get something to drink. I'm so sensitive to that stuff. I'll walk up here and see if there's a medic station or something with something to drink. Is there any water anywhere? Does anybody know? Does a medic stand over there have water? Thank you. Oh man. Revolutions are messy. Elk casualty of open fire pit, not Confederate. Yeah, it was an elk racism. That's what happened. So this guy right here, he's got his hand down there. That guy is sketch. I've seen him aggravate conflicts with people several times and threaten people. And I've never seen him assault anybody, but he threatens them. But keep an eye on him, man, because he's a unknown quantity. His sweatshirt he likes to wear says "I kill fascists" or something like that. Is there a medic stand somewhere with water? Has anybody seen any?
Water?
Yeah, I do really bad. I'm choking on that mace. I'm so sensitive to that stuff. Thank you so much. I didn't bring a mask or anything, and I didn't think about it. I didn't think this was gonna happen. It's been so mellow lately.
It can happen every night. You're here on Tuesday, North Portland?
I've been up in CHOP for a couple days.
No, things have not been mellow this week. No.
Yeah, I've been reading a little bit about it. When did they start gassing again? Because I know that they were banned from doing
Thursday.
it. Thursday?
Yeah.
And did you read about how that happened? Was there some official? I know Ted Wheeler made the decision, or a judge said that they could. Is that right?
No.
You don't know?
I don't know.
What they did is they waited for the 30-day.
Do you want to be on live stream or no? I'll keep your face off here.
So what they did was.
Can I put your face on or no?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
So what they waited literally until the day that the 30-day moratorium on the ban ended. And the day it ended, they started gassing again.
30 days. That doesn't make sense though, because what's today? The first?
It's the third now.
So third? So that doesn't make sense because the original riot where they busted into Louis Vuitton was on the 29th of May. So, and they were, I'm gonna get up there, man. Thank you for that.
We're smoked.
So there is a lot of smoke. I don't know if that's gas or not up here. Man, I'm such a wimp to this smoke. Is this gas or smoke? I think this is just smoke because I'm a wuss to it and I'm not choking yet. Is this gas or smoke?
It's gas.
You can see it's blowing. Oh, I get it a little bit now. But it's the wind's in our favor. It's basically blowing south is the direction you see it blowing. This park's filling up with it though. Oh, that's definitely gas. My eyes are burning. Fuck. There's a tactical war battle scooter there. It's like you saw if you saw my videos in the CHOP during the active shooter. Oh, my eyes are burning now. Fuck. Whew. Alright, we gotta get over here to fresh air for a minute.
Thanks for the memories, you piece of shit!
I'm gonna sit here against the wall and gather myself for a minute. There's Carl up there. If you guys watch my YouTube, I interviewed him. Hey Carl, you wanna be on live stream, say anything? Villain here. Now you good? He's a leader. Well, I don't know how he's just self-proclaimed, but he's out here with the megaphone a lot. I interviewed him on my my YouTube. I've got a lot of interviews with Portland protesters and a few from people in shop. Man, that stuff started to blow towards us again. Oh, my eyes, I can't see. Gotta get up here a little bit. Oh, fuck, I can't see. Oh, man. Okay. I gotta sit down for a minute. Try to get this out of my eyes. Oh, I didn't bring anything. My milk spray bottle. Yeah, please.
I got you.
Just a little bit.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
To go to side to side.
All right.
Side to side.
Okay, that's good. I'm gonna rub them.
Side to side.
Can you do it one more?
You gotta wash them out. Don't rub them. Side to side. Go like side. Now put your head side to side. There you go.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, for real.
Do you need any?
I'm good.
You guys save me.
I have water.
It's blinded there for a minute. Usually I carry a milk spray bottle with me, and that stuff works awesome, but I wasn't. It's been so long since I've been. It's been about a week since I've been in the Portland protest, and they weren't using gas so I wasn't in that mode yet. Okay, so this is Villain Phoenix. I'm at Villain_Phoenix on Twitter, Villain Phoenix on YouTube, the Villain Report page on Facebook. I recorded video live and tweeted out my videos during the active shooter at CHOP last Sunday night. And those footage is all over the internet on Seattle News. Seattle PD released it on their websites and their platforms. Okay, I can see again, I can breathe again. I'm gonna go back up here and film some more. Try to read your guys' comments now. There's a pro on that scooter. I got a camera attached to. Yeah, in one of my most viral little pieces of footage from that, there's me walking around the corner during the shooting at the police precinct in CHOP, and I come around the corner and this guy comes on one of those tactical scooters all lit up next to me towards the shooting victims. That was crazy. If you guys want to watch that, my most recent video on YouTube, Villain Phoenix, remember what I labeled it, but it's at the top. It's the most recent one, and it's all my footage from the active shooter event last Sunday night at Portland, or in CHOP, Seattle. But I got some amazing footage of the gunmen. I didn't get any footage of the shooters shooting or the actual shooting event where the 2 teenage boys got shot. I did transport in my lap in the back of a car the 14-year-old boy that got shot up. He's in critical condition at Harborview in Seattle right now. Don't rub them. You get gas, yeah. I wasn't very close. I'm really, really sensitive to gas. Like, usually things don't affect me for pain very much. I'm pretty high tolerance for pain, but man, tear gas and mace, I'm a wuss, dude. I'll be 2 blocks away from gas and then just start burning my throat. They got in my eyes just now. I got pretty close to it, trying to figure out what was happening up there. It's my own fault. I'm just tuning in. Hey, Chime Dog 69. Yeah, lots of gas a bit ago. My pepper gas. Jeez. Ribba Step says, hey, Portland. Pardon my ignorance, I'm just trying to understand all of this. Yeah, it's a bummer the Elk statue got destroyed. That's like an iconic Portland staple. Everybody loves that statue. It's kind of cool. It's a fountain in the middle of the road. So what I'm talking about is right there, in the middle of the road up there, off in the distance. It's a fountain that splits the one-way road, and it's this giant elk on there. So they set a bonfire last night. The city removed it today. Revolutions and Messy says Abel Thornrex. So looks like they're coming in again. I don't know why they're coming in right now so hot, because nobody's doing anything. So this is Main Street. They are driving north on Main Street. I'm at the intersection Main and 4th, Southwest Portland. This seems a bit excessive for for what's going on right now and what's been happening. So I'm right here. The riot cops are hopping off of the riot van. I have my hands in the air. I'm clearly filming, clearly documenting, and journalist. So I don't know why they came in so hot right now. I didn't see. So I'll get up here a little faster. They caught one of the protesters. They caught a second one there. Getting arrested. So I'm right here to watch these two protesters getting arrested.
This is the Portland Police Bureau. This is the McClure Riot. You must leave the area now by moving to the west.
Sage
Tear gas,
Matterson?
other control munitions being deployed.
Patterson.
Leave the area
Sage
now.
Patterson. Sage Patterson's getting arrested. We'll walk up and get this guy's name. Journalist, I'm just getting his name for a live stream. What's your name? Shout it out. Zane? V-A-N Zelensky? Zane Zelensky.
This is the Portland Police Bureau. This has been declared a riot. You must leave the area now by moving to the west. Tear gas and other crowd control munitions may be deployed. Leave the area now.
If you guys heard those names in a way that you could write them down legibly, tweet that stuff out so that people know that they're arrested. So I'm gonna walk up back here. So you can see I'm evidence that I don't know what's happened the last couple days, but for the last month I've been hearing independent journalists claim that the police are heavy-handed on them. The only thing I ever saw was people provoking the police that they got trouble. I walk in and out of their line as long as I'm clearly filming and peaceful, my hands up, they give me no problems. So this is the riot van I'm walking up next to. That's Eric live streaming over there. So
This is the Portland Police Bureau. This has been declared a riot. You must leave the area now by moving to the west. Tear gas and other crowd control munitions may be deployed. Leave the area now.
I got the boom truck, the loud voice truck
This is
next to
the
me.
Portland Police Bureau. This has been declared a riot. You must leave the area now by moving to the west. Tear gas and other crowd control munitions may be deployed. Leave the area now.
I'm gonna
This is the Portland
run,
Police Bureau.
try to go watch
This has
this.
been declared a riot. You must leave the area
Me
now by
running
moving
is
to the
kind of
west.
sketchy.
Tear gas and other crowd control munitions may be deployed. Leave the area now.
Just documenting. Shout your name out if you want people to know you're getting arrested.
This is the Portland Police Bureau.
Documenting. I'm a citizen journalist. I'm known online for documenting.
Tear gas and other crowd control munitions may be deployed. Leave the area now.
I'm an online journalist. I'm known online. I'm an online journalist. I'm known. I'm known. I'm just documenting. I'm trying to get his name. I'm not doing anything. I'm documenting. There's nothing I've done to get arrested for. That's the first bad interaction I've had. Do you want your name on live stream?
My name is Alex.
Did you get his last name?
Alex Sagi?
S-U-N-D-I-N-E.
Alex S-U-N-D-I-N-E?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
What's your name?
That was intense, man. That officer grabbed me by the arm. That's proved me wrong, you know. They are getting a little rough. He was about to arrest me.
Sir, what's your
If I wouldn't have
name?
shouted and said I was on live stream, I would have been arrested.
This is the Portland Police Bureau. This has been declared a riot. You must leave the area now by moving to the west. Tear gas and other crowd control munitions may be
They're
deployed.
arresting
Leave
that
the
gentleman
area
there.
now.
They won't let us. They won't let us get his name. He said we were good here, that last officer. Fuck, man. I just got arrested. He started to push me to the ground. If I wouldn't have stood my ground, he'd have thrown me to the ground. Wow. I stand corrected. They're going pretty hot-handed on the journalists. You want to shout your name out?
What's your name?
Can't tell if he doesn't want his name shouted out or if he's just having a hard time breathing because he looks pretty out of breath. So these neon green hats were up in CHOP the other day too. These are the National Lawyers Guild, I understand. They're here to observe legally. Are you guys the National Lawyers Guild? Yeah. All right, so there's nothing else here. I'm gonna back off and get across the street. There's nothing for me to be in the cops' faces for right now. Man, that was intense. He grabbed my shoulder, grabbed me by the nap of my clothing, and started getting aggressive with me. And I was in the area where the protesters weren't supposed to be, but I was obviously had my hand up, and my other hand filming. Clearly identified myself that I was documenting, and obviously wasn't doing anything else. He started to push me towards the ground, and I just kind of stood my ground and refused to go to my knees, and he eventually let go of me. So I thought I was getting arrested there for a minute. Man, if you guys hit my platforms up for me if I get arrested, let people know. Hey, Tossing Joe, what am I going to watch for the next 2 hours of my work shift? Diffuse underscore. You have to be a part of the news outlet. You can't just claim you are an independent journalist. I'm actually professional now because I've sold my footage to some several news outlets this weekend to CHOP. So legally, the definition of professional, I am legally a professional journalist now. I've actually made money off of it, so that's what the distinction between professional and amateur is. This is the same villain from the tech shoot. Yeah, that was me at the CHOP shooting. That was me that caught all that crazy footage up there. I was right up next to the gunman, following the guys through the park and around the corner at the precinct. I'm the one that had the 14-year-old in my lap in the back seat with Raz Simone driving us to the ER. Yeah, I don't have, I've been pretty broke recently. I want to invest in some more equipment. I don't have one of those little hand holders. So if I'm making you seasick from my hands, I'll try to, broke, man. Coronavirus has not done me well. On that note, if anybody cares to help me out with equipment, I have my Cash App and Venmo in the description on my page on my Twitch account. It's one of the first things I want to buy is one of those stabilizer handles like this guy's got with the mask there. Right on. Right on, Toby Flowbee. Toby, my Twitch stream is saying that everybody's coming to you for audio, or excuse me, you for video, and they're coming to me for audio. Yeah, I don't have any stabilizers or anything yet, so I think I'm making people seasick. Yeah, that's Eric. You're on a live stream right now? You want to shout it out?
It's a Veteran for Peace, or my name is Eric Greenwood.
What's your last name?
Greetwood.
Dreepwood. D-R-E-E. Hey, there's a guy on my stream that knows you. Whoever that guy was that was saying they knew Eric, Veteran for Peace, shout out his live stream on here for me. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd take some stickers for press. love that. Or I don't know how if you customize it, but I'd like to get some with my pirate flag, Villain Phoenix logo on there, brand it. I'm hoping to. Like I was saying earlier, I just kind of fell into this. When the riots started happening in Portland, I was there that first night when they broke into the mall and when they broke into Apple, and I filmed a lot there. You know, I'm not sure. I've been learning all this, so I don't know if I went back and put all that on my YouTube. It was on my Facebook for a little while. But,
Fuck you.
she's feisty.
Fucking pricks.
But,
I used to like you. I used to think you were all fucking bad.
But anyways, I love doing this. This is like just made for my personality. It sounds horrible, but yeah, I don't even know if I want to say it. Anyways, to be honest, I kind of enjoyed filming and being a part of documenting the shooter at Chaz. I don't like what happened. I'm not saying that it was good. I'm very brokenhearted that the young man died and the other boy is critical in the hospital. But I could see myself being like a war journalist or something. It was kind of a unique gig. Careful about who and how they use your footage, or they won't give you a sticker. What does that mean, Hable Thornrex? That's wrong. All right, Inspector Detective. Right on, I'll check that out. So this is gonna make me sound ignorant because I'm ignorant to this. This is the first time using Twitch. I just signed up to it on the way walking down here. And this is the first time I've ever live streamed or used Twitch. Is this recording that I'm doing, is this being saved? Can I go back to this? I don't know who shot the kid. I was around the corner shortly. I came to the shooting incident scene shortly after it was finished. I did not see the shooters. I don't know who shot the people. You can find, not to toot my own horn, but I think my footage of the Jeep shooting, well, you're not actually going to find footage of the Jeep being shot up, but the footage from that active shooter event, you can find my stuff on Villain Phoenix at Facebook. Not Facebook, sorry, YouTube. Villain Phoenix YouTube. The last video I posted is a chronological piece by piece of all the video footage I took during that event. Sorry, I'm still out of breath from the gas. Watch your footage, Villain. Thanks, Rub-a-dub-dub-stub. Yeah, it was rough. Yeah. And I had a bunch of more footage because my camera was going when I was right up next to those boys as they were bleeding and shut up on the ground, you know. I was trying to help them, trying to help the medics get things ordered and organized, and I couldn't show all that footage, man. It was pretty gory. Look, Francis, what is going on here? Sorry, I'm new to this, so I'm not able to keep up to the chat and live stream very well at the same time and talk to people. So he's asking what's going on here. So this is in Portland, Oregon. This is a protest. I'm at Broadway in Maine. The protest tonight was around the Justice Center like they always are. For some reason, the Justice Center boarded up all their outdoor walkways a few days ago, and at the same time, the Federal Building next door took down all their boarding and sheeting and plywood off of the windows so that all these glass windows are exposed. Obviously, the protesters targeted that tonight, and they broke in the glass door to the entrance of the Federal Building. Federal police came out and started spraying pepper spray and shooting pepper balls at people. They chased the protesters west on Main Street to about this point, and then they backed off for a while, and everybody went back to the Justice Center, and then sorry bud, and then they chased us out again. I think people started provoking the Federal Building again, and they sprayed and gassed. So I'm facing east right now, and we're on 6th, we're on Broadway, so that's like basically 8th ish. And the Justice Center of the Federal Building is on 2nd, so we're 6, 7, 8-ish blocks away from where the protest started. The riot police are holding the line there on the east side of the intersection of Broadway and Main, And there's not that big of a protest group tonight. Maybe 100 people. What do you think? 100 people here? Hey, this girl says, hey, it's Villain Phoenix on Twitch right now.
Wait, you're doing what?
Live stream.
For Phoenix?
Villain Phoenix. That's my social media stuff. Yeah. How many protesters do you think are here? Under 100 probably, right? Yeah.
About 100.
Yeah, before all this happened earlier, they were setting fireworks off and there was about, I would have guessed 300 people earlier. So I'm guessing maybe 80-ish. There's always people like farther back that are more timid, so there's another dozen or so up another block. Let's see, I'm gonna get a provocative shot here. Spanned by the police here. So these are the Portland police. So tonight was the first time I've ever experienced a little bit of intense aggression from them. I was trying to get the name of a young woman and a young man being arrested. And they grabbed me by the shoulder.
To the individuals in Southwest Broadway, the street is open to vehicular traffic. Move to the west sidewalk now. Failure to comply may subject you to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions.
So if there was something to record, I would stay on this side of the street, but there's not anything to record, so I'm not going to unnecessarily put myself in provocation.
To the individuals in Southwest Broadway, the street is open to vehicular traffic. Move to the west sidewalk now. Failure to comply may subject you to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions.
Eric Greatwoods, that's the guy right here with, they call him the pole. He's got the giant window washing stick with his hammer on top. He's the peaceful veteran. That's actually true. The only traffic that's really going through here.
In Southwest Broadway, the street is open to vehicular traffic. Move to the west sidewalk now. Failure to comply may subject you to arrest and use of force.
So what they're doing is calling out technical laws being broken so that they have justification to come move forward again.
Here they go.
Hands are up.
Move to the west sidewalk
Videotaping.
now.
Hands up.
Failure to comply may subject you to arrest and use of force to include crowd control
Live stream.
munitions.
Okay. I'm trying to get around the corner here. They're telling me to stay here. So, these officers are directly targeting me when they're telling me not to come over here.
To the individuals in Southwest Broadway, the street is open to vehicular traffic. Move to the west sidewalk now. Failure to comply may
We want to
subject
go
you to
on this
arrest
side.
and
We
use of
want
force
to go on this
to include
side.
crowd control
Okay.
munitions.
Okay. Just filming these people as they're walking by. So nothing's happening right now. They verbally voiced. Yeah, they grabbed me earlier. I didn't let him push me to the ground. He finally let go. I kept saying I'm live streaming. So
How many people they got so far? Like 3 or 4?
I've seen, I would say 5 or 6 so far. He's asking how many people are arrested. Okay. Eric is a member of the Dream Team. I'll have to look that up later. Oh shit, Toby Flo says. Flo B.
Not responding to inquiries for their badge numbers or their names.
Okay.
Where's my phone?
Well, Toby Flo says that was peaceful protesters, 100% attacked. Right here, this moment, yeah, I would agree with that because what the police do in Portland is they call out a technical violation of a law and they repeat that over and over for a couple minutes and then they move upon that if that doesn't change. So that's why they were on the loudspeaker saying that we needed to clear the road, even though there's no traffic on that road except for protest people that are driving by to watch what's going on. They were technically standing in a road that's open, so they were technically breaking the law. So the police repeat that several times, and then they'll move forward. And their goal, how the police work here when they're pushing the protesters away from protest centers, they push and then they stop, they push and they stop, and their goal is to split the group up until it splinters enough so much that everybody goes home. So what's your stream? Somebody already said you were an awesome guy on the scooter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
So
streaming.
this is a streaming guy here on the battle scooter.
I've got 2 streams going.
Oh yeah.
So one is under Halo Space. It's a page on Facebook.
Yeah.
And the other one is under my name, which is Philip with 2 L's. Sitbon. S-I-T-B-O-n.
Do not
Right on.
interfere with officers as they process their custody.
Villain Phoenix. I just started my first live stream tonight on Twitch.
Nice.
It's just Villain Phoenix. I'm on Twitter, Villain_Phoenix, and I'm on YouTube, Villain Phoenix. I got some amazing video
Do
this
not
week in the shop.
interfere
I
with
was at the
officers as they
active
process
shooter.
their custody.
Wow, okay.
If you
You have to
interfere,
check out
you
my
are
last
subject to
video.
arrest and
And
use
so
of
what platform
force
you stream on?
to include crowd control munitions.
The video footage, you can easily find it on YouTube.
Did you do live,
Villain
or-
Phoenix. No, this is the first time I've ever done anything live.
Okay,
on
gotcha.
Twitch right now.
Okay, cool.
But my footage from the live shooter went viral. It's on the news.
Oh,
Seattle
wow.
police released it without my permission.
Of course, yeah.
And then my YouTube, it's got it all in there. The last video will show you like from the beginning to the end of the shooting. It's not. It
Are
wasn't
you from
live.
Seattle or?
No. I just went up there to. I initially went up there to CHOP to see what was going on up there because it seemed like the media was just flat out lying about it, and they were. And so I wanted to go see for myself. I stayed up there for about 4 days, and then I went back up this weekend to see the city was supposed to come in and take the barriers down, and they didn't do that Sunday morning. And then Sunday night they had a live active shooter where 2 boys got shot up really bad. One of them died.
Yeah. I heard about that. I met the medic that treated them. Sounds pretty horrific.
You're a medic too, you said?
No, I said I met the medic that treated them up there.
Oh yeah, I was there with that. I transported the boy to the hospital.
Well, so before I did all this, for the first couple of weeks, I was doing I did the original crowd stream of everybody on the ground.
Yeah.
Put them all together on one stream and live stream that.
Oh, right on.
So I still do that from time to time when I'm not coming out.
Right on.
So I'll definitely look you
Well,
up.
hit me up, message me on something. I'll check up with you.
You got a memorable name.
Yeah, Villain Phoenix. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I got tear gassed bad.
I didn't get it bad. I'm just really sensitive to it, man. It's in my throat pretty good. My throat's still tingling and burning.
I'm just fucked. I'm all sticky with it. So.
Yeah.
They shot it right at me.
Yeah.
I got it like a big face full.
Yeah, that's what was interesting tonight too. Is they declared it a riot really quickly. Normally, Portland is really slow on that kind of stuff.
People were throwing shit in that broken door.
Yeah, well, even that happened. I guess what it was is they broke the front doorway to the federal building. And were you there when that happened? I was
right
at a
there.
distance from it.
I was
Did they enter the building?
10 feet. Nobody entered the building, but someone threw a Molotov cocktail or something right there. There was a fire.
Yeah.
It went out.
Yeah.
But
And then it
after
was
some more
slowly burning,
fireworks-
and then later the aerosol kind of freed itself and kind of flamed up a little bit.
Yeah.
But how did they break that building down? Did they throw something at it, or did someone go up and start beating on
I think the
it?
cops broke the door by using it to assault people who got too close. That's what it looked like.
Ah, okay, all right. So he's saying that the door at the federal building that got broken in tonight was a glass
they were,
door.
smashing it out.
Saying that there was protesters outside of it, and they were using it to kind of push. They would open the door to push protesters, and he's saying that it looked like that's how it broke. They broke it against the protesters.
Oh, this is great. We got people who went around. Everybody's over there. All the bad boys.
This guy might know you. He said, "Hey, Holo, is that you? Holo with the explanation boy?"
I don't have my glasses.
Oh, here we go. This guy says, "Halo Space is awesome."
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, that's I'm trying to build a makerspace on the other side of town, just across the river, actually. Mostly at this point for protest support.
This one of my followers, Toby Flowbee, says, no, that was the wrong one. Crazy Maiden 68 says everybody's pissed because we burnt the elf statue.
Do not follow officers. If you do, you may be subject to force.
I love how they say don't follow the officers, so that's exactly what everybody
Yeah, you know
does.
they're gonna follow him. You leave, we're all going back to your justice center.
obligation.
Yeah.
Do not follow officers. If you do, you may be subject to force.
Do you know when they started using gas again? It was up North Portland, right? Was it like 2
yeah.
nights ago?
That was last week. last.
We used them yesterday and 2 days ago, I think.
Yesterday and 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Do you know?
Yeah, so
do you know what
Tuesday-
happened legally to where they got to start using that again?
Tuesday,
That's a
they
flashbang up
gassed a
there.
residential neighborhood.
I'm gonna run up there and get this. I can never tell if the yellow stuff. That's just the top. I thought that was a gas thing rolling towards me. So you guys are standing there. Is that gas or smoke?
I got hit with smoke and I got shot.
You okay? So that was a mortar that the protesters are throwing.
Green flag! Green flag! Right there, right there, right there! Right there, right there, behind you, right there!
Oh man, that hurt. That hurt. It hasn't blown up, man. Be careful with that.
You're okay. Fuck you and your stinger balls, you piece of shit!
That got me pretty good. I got the percussion of that. I was on. Woo! Wow. Was that on the screen? Did you guys see that? So you still think this is not a riot? Most of all that was the police throwing stuff at us. That last mortar explosion was obviously a rioter or a protester type. What did that guy go? I was just talking to him. It seemed like he knew stuff.
Serial numbers on your
And where'd that guy go that we were just talking to? Do you see him? He had a black helmet on, right?
I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was trying to get a card. I don't know.
Man, I was like 4 or 5 feet away from that percussion.
Yeah, no, I wasn't far. I've had a number. They started to throw them right at me.
Yeah?
It happened last week, or I can't remember when. It's all.
So I haven't been to the protests in Portland for like a week. They are significantly more aggressive right now than they have been recently.
Yeah, they're trying to break our strength in numbers.
If you want to, I've got a video of all of the things they use. I collected it one night. It's a horrible video. It was one of my first videos I made on YouTube. But it's on Villain Phoenix on YouTube. I've got all the different ones. I collected them one night. Villain Phoenix on YouTube. Yeah, I've got a clear. It's not a very good video because I was learning how to do it. But it's got every single one that they use. It's got the orange and the green and the blue rubber bullets that they shoot.
Here's a number.
What do you guys want me to do? Just gonna walk towards this. Want me to interview somebody, or want me to go look at something that you want to see? That's the Gus J. Solomon United States Courthouse. So I assume that's federal property too.
Fuck Ted Wheeler. We're marching on your mansion, Ted.
When is that a plan?
All summer long, Ted Wheeler, you caused the Jeremy Christian Max stabbing. You caused a racist terrorist attack and covered it up. We didn't forget. We got all summer to march, Ted. Resign now. Peace out.
You think Ted Wheeler caused that?
He's the police commissioner. He allowed that to happen in these gassy pizza protesters. You tell me, the guy who got stabbed in the neck says so. A lot of people else as well have said. He's police commissioner. He let a terrorist run around, but he gasses us. What the hell?
What was Jeremy Christensen arrested around that time before he stabbed?
So everybody knows Jeremy was threatening many people. He shot people, stabbed people. He had a long rap sheet.
Yeah, he was insane, man.
Yeah, he threatened me a month before the killings, and you know what? Nothing happened. He went and murdered people. So, you know, it's a big problem, a cover up. And Ted Wheeler, literally, Michael Fletcher has said, you caused the stabbing. So the fact that it's been covered up for 3 years is hilarious. It's not going to stand longer.
Wow.
So all summer long, we're organizing marches against Ted for the stabbings. But what do you think about the whole thing?
So I'm not a far rightist. People will label me with smears on that, but I'm like a little bit of right of center, you know.
Libertarian type?
Yeah. Anarcho-capitalist, you know. Like I'm an anarchist too, but I like law and order. I just don't like to have rulers over me that I can't opt out of, you know.
Minarchist, kind of.
Huh?
Minarchy. Like
not quite minarchy. I don't know. I don't like to say labels, but I also think that I also think that people that are able-bodied are obligated to help people that aren't so able-bodied.
Yes, sir.
So, like, I'm not for communism or socialism, but I do think that people that do well in life and have certain talents and intelligence and strength and that kind of thing, you have your obligation to help your fellow man.
Definitely.
But
Like
I don't
volunteerism.
think the government is the best way to make that happen.
I would agree with you. There's a lot. I'm politically homeless, and so I work
Yeah?
with everybody on the issues. Like prison reform is an issue that like libertarians and progressives, the libertarians and progressives agree on prison reform.
Yeah, that's why I was bringing up that it was with Jeremy Christensen. I think
everybody agrees on that.
Everybody tries to get. A lot of people try to say that he was a member of the right, and the right's like, no, he's not their guy. You know, nobody wants anything to do with him.
Gibson even knows. Like, but the thing is, he hasn't marched against Ted. Like, I even threw a bone to him. I said, Joe, you should march against Ted for the Max 7. He never has. So like,
well,
he's more about clickbait. Like,
so one thing I try to do is get the right and the left to talk more, because I don't. Right on. Because I think a lot of things we don't differ so much. We're just looking at it on the other side of the fence, you know? We have the same goal. Like, I even though I'm more on the right side, I am for the demilitarization of the police. I am for ending of qualified immunity. Like, why do we have those things? That doesn't make any sense. I'm also for some form of more community policing rather than, like, I don't think police officers should live in a different city and work in one city. I don't think that...
do you think progressives and libertarians could agree about the fascist mass law that's right now? Like the fact that states are telling us what we can and cannot wear. That's something we could all agree upon.
What do you mean?
Well, I like to fuck the narratives and find radical solidarity on the issues of the state. If you're like
no, what I mean, you said the state was telling us what we can and cannot wear. What do you mean by that?
So like right now we're mandated that we have to wear a mask, even though Dr. Fauci has said it's actually not good for our lungs.
Yeah, they got a video that just came out the other day. Well, at least I saw it the other day. It might be old. I might be ignorant. But he's showing somebody. He's on camera and somebody else is filming him. And the minute they say that the scene is over, he takes his mask off.
Yep.
But no, that's something I think is more conservative thing. Conservatives are mad to be told that they call it a muzzle. They're like, you're not going to tell me to wear a muzzle.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like if it's slippery slope, I get that, you know. And I think that there's so many things that are distracting us from. Like I know Jeffrey Epstein's victim personally on Twitter. If you follow me. I got her to dunk on Sam Adams, who's a pedophile who ran for city council just this fucking season.
Yeah, that was weird for me. Like, I wasn't very political until last. Like, when I was younger, I was probably I was ignorant to anything political until later in my life. You know, like when I was in my early 20s, I didn't care about any of that stuff. But one thing that did bother me, when Sam Adams was mayor, I was like, what the fuck? This guy is creepy. Why is he leading our city,
I used to advise him as a Multnomah youth commissioner, so we had all access to the mayor, the city councilors. We would advise him on youth policy. But we thought, even as youth commissioners, that it was kind of weird we had a pedophile, like, who we were supposed to advise.
He was creepy,
and
man.
So when he ran for office this time around, I immediately remembered, hey, this weird pedophile I used to advise, the youth commissioner, I got to stop that shit right now. So I hit up Virginia Roberts Dufresne on Twitter. She's the lead Epstein victim taking down Prince Andrew. And I said, hey, Virginia, Portland's a capital of sex trafficking, and right now a pedophile mayor who I used to advise is trying to run for city council. Please stop this. You know what Virginia did? She tweeted on a global level at Sam Adams, and every single news station in Portland never reported that the Epstein narrative touched down in Portland. They never reported that Sam Adams was called out by the biggest Me Too woman of all time.
Wow.
So there's a lot of shit that's going on in politics in Portland that the news is covering up, and the main thing I want to say is that's why they don't want us coming together and coming outside, because magic happens when people bring narratives together and talk about these things. Because the news, you didn't know that Epstein's victim called out Sam Adams. I'm sure you didn't, because the news didn't report it. And that's why they don't want us out here, because we break that soundproof wall. You're hearing it now because you met me. Somebody else will hear it at home, and that's what they're terrified for. So I don't know, it's like we're all here for many reasons, but we have massive ability to make change. So what do you think about, what brings you out? What change do you want to see?
What brings me out, I started documenting. I'm starting to get a little bit of following online. At the beginning of the first riot we had in Portland, I just came out to see what was going on, and I was kind of watching to see if they were going to come in my neighborhood and fuck some stuff up. And I just started filming that night. Got a bunch of videos of them breaking into the mall and the businesses around there. And then I really started getting upset by the mainstream media. and they're reporting on all that was happening in Portland because I was out here every night, and their story didn't match what I was seeing. But also, a lot of the independent journalists were misrepresenting things. They were like editing their footage or putting themselves in a situation to where something would happen to them on purpose, you know, and trying to like provoke like a good clip to happen, you know.
Well, that's the problem on all sides, like, and that's why I say like on Joey Gibson's side, I tried to reach out to him.
Yeah.
He's a libertarian.
Is he?
He didn't give a fuck about the issues, and so that's my problem. Is like even on the right, there's problems with clickbait people because like I thought originally he was a libertarian because he used to have a small channel.
Yeah.
He was libertarian geared. So when I reached out to him on prison reform, I thought he'd be down for the gang truces. Well, he never actually marched on billionaires' houses because I know where they live. I worked in politics. I'm like a whistleblower big time. So I told Joey like there's a lot of shit that you can march on right now and be very effective. But I couldn't understand why the hell he didn't want to fucking do anything. Eventually, it just turned out that he's not in it for actual issues. It's more like let's start fights and have clicks. And I'm really looking for the people who are intellectual like yourself who want to get into the nitty-gritty of the issues and find ways to win on radical solidarity. We don't have to love each other or come together. That's bullshit. That's fake news. That's a pipe dream. But we can say, hey, I hate your politics, but I love this issue.
Yeah, we can still talk, you know.
Let's tackle the elite on this one issue.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's depressing because it's like herding cats and everyone's here for a different reason. But there's a lot of ways that people would come together and like take out Ted Wheeler. We could change the system of governance.
Yeah. Are you on social media at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you got a following or anything? I can hit you up.
Suit and tie skater guy Instagram.
Okay. Well, are you on Twitter?
Yeah, it's Patrick_STUPFEL.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go up there and try to see if I can get some some video of the broken window real quick. I'll hit you up again in a minute if you're still here. But if you want, you can contact me easily on Twitter, and I'd love to interview you sometime. At villain_Phoenix, normal spellings on Twitter.
I won't remember that, my phone's dead. But if you remember it on the video later, suit and tie skater guy.
Somebody tell me, or do you know about Twitch? This is the first time I've ever done this. I'm ignorant to it. Somebody tell me on the live stream, is my video being recorded? Can I watch it again later?
Well, we'll loop back later. I'll see you around.
Okay, well, I'll see you again. I'm going to go film up there.
Awesome.
But, yeah, if you get a chance, check out my YouTube, Villain Phoenix.
Villain Phoenix?
Yep. I was up filming during the live active shooter in Shop the other day. I was the one that got the most, one of like 3 people that got some really crazy footage. So check it out, man. I actually like talking to that guy, but I didn't feel like this was the right moment for that, like a calmer moment to like actually like get into that and film an interview would have been better. But everything's calming down right now, but I still want to get up here and film the broken federal building door. What did you guys? Did you like that conversation with him? Was that something you guys wanted me to stick in? Shaw O_911 tells me that I can. I think he's talking about being able to watch my Twitch later. Clips enabled. This is the weirdest LARPing session I've ever seen. Schecter guitars? What do you mean by that? The weirdest LARPing session? This is the federal building. This is where it all started tonight. I'm timid to walk over here because it's federal property. But see the door there and the federal police. These guys are kicking the cans down that were on fire earlier. Somebody threw a little Molotov cocktail up there. Just kind of burned quietly until the aerosol of the can released, and it kind of turned into a little bit bigger flame. So I'm gonna walk peacefully on here. I'm live streaming, guys, just documenting these events. That's pretty close. So I almost got blown up by a mortar from these guys. Not the police, but the rioters threw up a firework mortar. Luckily I saw that because I was close enough to get hurt by it if I didn't step around the pillar there. Man, that's crazy. Oh. So he's clarifying the LARPers. I agree with that. A lot of these guys, I'm 6'2". And these guys don't even care that they're throwing them right next to us. Oh, there's another. No, that one's blown up. We're good. We're good. You get hurt by that one?
Yeah, it was pretty close. I'm all right.
Yeah, did you see that first one they hit? I was like right there. I just barely ducked behind the pillar. Oh, that was scary, man. I don't get scared too easy normally, dude.
Hey, man, it's been a long month, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
It's starting to take its toll.
Are you an independent journalist or are you with the mainstream?
I'm with Defend PDX.
Defend PDX?
Me and my buddy right there.
Right on.
Yeah,
I'm Villain Phoenix on different social media platforms. I got my videos from, I got some really good video at the the active shooter and Chop the other day. Yeah, check out Villain Phoenix on YouTube. The last video is all my footage from that ordeal, man. Did you hear about it?
With the white SUV?
Yeah. I transported the guy that lived. He's in critical condition. I held him on my lap on the way to the hospital. My footage is all over the news and internet. Seattle PD released it on their platforms without my permission. What's that Sean guy, streamer guy? He's pretty popular. Him too, and then there's a thing out of Seattle, Converge Media. If you guys want to check out some videos, live streams, there's I can't remember her name, Joy Love, I think, something Love. Converge Media, Sean guy, I think he's GUI_, and Villain Phoenix. We all had some pretty intense video during that active shooter. But yeah.
This guy's up here at the front. I hope they don't nab him or something.
Yeah, the thing about this is federal property, so they're not under the same.
He's got his back on him too. That's not a good idea.
I think it looks like he's provocating, you know.
Oh, really?
You need to tell the protesters you're the press, not the cops. But those explosions just now weren't anything to do with the cops. Is that what you're saying? That was protesters throwing firework mortars at us? Well, at the police. I just happened to be there. Yeah, Sean guy. Yeah, he's got some good footage. He comes off as like a very gentle person. The guy's got some balls on him. Like I've seen videos of his from Chop where several times, like one video they grabbed his backpack and they were holding him and he was screaming for help, and another guy's like, no one's gonna help you. He also had one of his live streaming cameras stolen. I just found that video today. It's linked on, I believe, my Twitter and my Facebook page, the Villain Report on Facebook, at Villain_Phoenix on Twitter. But some of the Chop security stole his live stream camera, robbed it from him out of his hands, and they didn't realize that it was still streaming, and they get their faces on it and they're talking, and then they finally realize that it's going. But yeah, he's got some balls. I've never seen him in person, I don't think. Maybe I have. But anyways, what I was saying, they were making fun of, somebody on the chat here was making fun of the Antifa types for LARPing as tough people. And I was saying that I'm 6'2". I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I'm not somebody that you would easily just mess with without thinking about it, you know? Like when that cop had his hand on my shoulder and trying to push me to the ground, you know, I stood my ground, and I think if I was smaller, he would have just used more force. But I don't get in fights too much very, very easily, because, you know, if you're at a certain size, people will think twice about messing with you. Anyways, so these guys in their LARPing outfits, their Antifa outfits, they'll weigh like 90 pounds, 100 pounds. They'll just be walking through this place like they're the toughest guys in the world. And they'll look me straight in the eye like they're giving me a dirty look and trying to stink eye me, and they'll bump me with their shoulder as they're passing by. Like, it's like, I describe their Antifa costumes they put on as the Harry Potter invisibility cloak. Like, they don't think people can see them, you know? But it's kind of weird watching them act like that. What do you guys want me to go see anything? You want me to look at anything for you? Yeah, Chop was definitely a dangerous place. The place was not safe. Actually, got a little heat on me up there for putting out those videos of the active shooter. A lot of people did not like that I was doing that. Did not like that I put that out there. But you know what? Go screw yourself, man. Yeah, they do kind of mob up to people, but even like sometimes Portland's way safer than Seattle as far as these protests go. Well, the city in general is. But yeah, those protesters are just weird, man. Even the little tiny ones will walk up to you by themselves. Thanks for the coverage, bro. Thanks, Crazy Made It 68.
This area, and then please use CS gas in this area.
I actually heard, I don't know how smart it is for me to say these things, but I actually heard there's a hit out on me from people from the chop for the videos they put out on me. But you know what? I gotta die sometime, you know? I don't want to live my life as a coward. Let's walk over to the wagon wheel and see if they added any fire to that. It doesn't look like it's burning, but let's see if they actually got it destroyed at all or damaged it. If you guys see anything on other people's Twitter, sorry, I'm stuttering here. If you guys see anything on anybody else's live streams that's happening or going down, let me know and I'll run over there and take a look. But so for those of you who didn't see earlier, this is the elk statue that was taken down this morning by the city. Last night, the protesters started a big bonfire around it. It has no political significance whatsoever. It was a statue of an elk. It was just art and decoration. See the wall to the fountain pool down here has been broken up. I think that was due to the masonry cracking from the fire. I was not here last night. But they built a big bonfire all around this thing. And then apparently the city claims that the statue was damaged to the point where they had to take it down. I haven't seen pictures of the statue after it was burnt. And everybody that I've talked to, the few people I talked to that saw it, said it wasn't really damaged. But yeah, it's weird that they targeted that statue. Because as I was saying earlier, sorry if I'm repeating myself, I don't know how many of you were listening earlier. So there's 3 parks right here in a row. They're 1 city block each. And actually there's 4. But there's 3 statues. There's that elk statue in the middle of the road there that's pretty iconic to Portland. Just a beautiful statue. It's in the middle of the road of a one-way street. People have to drive around. It's pretty cool. And then there's this statue. It's a white man, woman, and child with a rifle and a wagon wheel, and he's pointing toward the west. I was told by a journalist earlier today, a mainstream journalist, that it was put up in 1993, and it was a big stink in the Pacific Northwest about it, because I guess it alludes to manifest destiny and colonization. The boy has a Bible in his hand, so there are a lot of people that were upset about this whole thing, and it got put up anyways. And then the elk statue is in the middle of the road there, and then past that there's a large pylon, I guess, with an old-timey soldier on top, I think from like probably Revolutionary days, or and that's the Oregon Volunteer Infantry Memorial. So that has to do with war. This has connections to, like, you could argue, to colonization, the oppression of the Indians. It's got a gun, so guns, the wagon, and pointing west, so it's manifest destiny, all that kind of stuff. Whatever you agree, I think, or whatever your political stance is, I think you can understand why certain perspectives would be upset about this statue or about the war statue. But pretty much everybody is upset and like, why the hell did they ruin the elk statue? Really, the only thing is just because it's so visceral visually. So that's the Justice Center there, where all the protests have been basically centered. That's the federal building there. And here's the elk statue fountain. So there's been people climbing up on that during all the riots and protests. There are people hang out here and play music. People get hibachi girls out here and cook here. So it's just kind of a centerpiece. And so it kind of was inevitable that vandalism was going to happen to it to this point. But definitely the least political statue that's been toppled in the last month. I'm upset about that one. I don't like the toppling of statues in general. I don't think that small groups have the right to tell other groups what statues mean or what symbols mean, you know? We gotta have tolerance so everybody can believe their own things and no thought control. Let people have their own beliefs and own thoughts until they start harming other people. Anyways, that elk statue had nothing political Unless there's some form of elk racism or elk colonization that I don't know about. Let's go peek over here to the... So again, you see all the boarded up areas? See these white, I'm trying to get my finger out here, these white squares up there. That's all like an open air walkway, and all that was open. And they recently, I'm told in the last couple days, this is the first day I've been down here in a few days. Recently, they put all that up. So here's an entryway into there. And that doorway right there, actually this whole thing was an open air, just a big long walkway in front of the building that you could walk through. But they've boarded that all up. And then they've got little things like this right here, and this right here are little flaps, little peepholes they can pop out. And look, there's another one right there. Right there. So they boarded that all up a couple days ago. And then at the same time, I'm told, they took all the sheathing and plywood and protection to these windows and doors down on the federal building across the street. It does not make any sense that they would do this when the riots and protests are still going on. Except for, the only thing I can think of is to target the attention of people that want to break things to the federal building rather than the Multnomah County building. I'm a journalist! What are you shooting me for? I'm nothing, I'm filming. I didn't do anything, I'm filming, I'm allowed to film. I'm not aggressing at all, you just shot me for nothing. I just got shot in the foot with something. Man, I don't even know if I'm hurt. I'm hurt. They shot me in the foot just because I was walking on the sidewalk. You got a light? Anybody got a light? No, I'm not hurt. I'm not hurt. It felt pretty bad. I wasn't sure.
Pepper ball or what?
It was hard and it didn't spray on me, so I think it was a bullet. I mean, a rubber bullet of some sort.
Yeah, we're one of them foam bullets.
Yeah. That hurt though. I wasn't sure if my foot was all cut off. Man, what did they?
Oh, like a flashlight. I thought you meant. Okay.
No.
I was like, this is a weird time.
Hey, I met you like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think so.
I was collecting all the different kind of things they shoot at us that night. Yeah, I'm live streaming Villain Phoenix.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I've got a big bag of all the shit.
So I haven't been over here for a couple minutes. Did they make an announcement and kick everybody off of the sidewalk over there?
Or well, like a while ago, but not anytime recently.
Yeah.
Nothing that should have warranted them shooting at anybody.
Dude, he got me in the foot pretty good, man.
They just keep doing that for no reason. In fact, they were letting us walk up there.
Yeah.
They were letting us just walk up there a moment
little bit
ago.
earlier.
And suddenly they just got, I don't know if they're like testosterone started going a little stronger or something.
Either that could be.
Yeah, I just felt that.
Yeah, I'm okay. That hurt, but I'm okay. It didn't cut me or
They
anything.
took a bump of androgel and they were like, oh, okay, now I'm ready.
You want to shout out your press?
Oh,
I'm live streaming Villain Phoenix.
Oh, here we
on
go.
Twitch.
I'm actually a comedian, so.
Oh yeah, you're a comedian. I remember talking to you, but you're also out here doing press stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually.
So let me ask you guys, what is your opinion on what the heck is going on? Because so I was up at CHOP for a little bit, and this is the first day I've been out here at the Portland protests again. And so this is the first time seeing that the Multnomah County Justice Center is all boarded up like that, and they took all the boards off of the federal building. What is that? You guys got any idea what that is? Like, why would they do that?
Because the protesters ripped a few of the boards off yesterday.
Yeah, so yesterday people ripped off all the boards of this building. The Justice Center has been boarded up for about 2 weeks now.
2 weeks?
The protesters did rip off a bunch of the boards the other day.
A few nights ago they did.
Yeah, they put up more boards,
then they put them back.
more,
So what happened is because...
Has it been boarded up?
I know, it's rough, it's tough.
Sorry. I've still got some of that in my throat. Has it been boarded up to that extent?
No.
That's what I was thinking. That looks new to me.
What happened is that we had the fence set up. We had the fence set up around the Justice Center, right?
There's a mortar going off.
And
1, 2, 3, 4. It's not going. It's not going.
All right.
It's gonna wait till I let my guard down, and it's gonna scare me.
The camera away, then it's gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we had the fence set up, or the police did, and then as soon as the police took it away, that's when they started to put the boards up.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because the last time I was here, I don't remember seeing it boarded up to that extent.
Yeah,
But so I was talking to another guy earlier that swears that most of these boards came down like 2 or 3 days ago, and then they were already down when they started making the bonfire last night. Were you here last night?
I was here last night. I saw people tear down the boards.
Was everything boarded up?
Everything was boarded.
Okay, so that all happened. Okay, so that was misinformation. What that guy told me earlier.
Yeah.
So I've been getting all conspiratorial, you know? Like, why would they do that to target our attention over here?
There they go shooting again.
Where are they shooting at?
They were shooting, it looked towards, probably where the person who threw the water bottle or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pointed quite towards us.
Yes, pepper balls.
You know what's funny is that I'm not really part of these protests. I'm just out here to document, for honest documentation, because the media is lying and a lot of the independent journalists are kind of skewing things too. So I'm like a little bit right of center. So for them to shoot me is kind of like really ironic, you know, because I'm kind of here
I would love more right of center people to come down here and.
It's scary
and
because
to get beat up by the police. Because
part of it is that the leftist crowds will tend to mob people once they find out.
It depends.
Because I'm not that far right of center.
As long as you're not like an alt-right person who's like filming people's faces,
well,
then you're gonna be fine.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm not that far right of center.
Sure.
And once people find out that I'm not a leftist, a lot of times they start I've got people accusing me of being a fascist and a known fascist on Twitter. It's just you get labeled really quick, you know. Like I was up in CHOP for a while, and it started getting to the point where I had to be really careful about my safety because more and more people were finding out that I wasn't really part of the movement, you know.
Sure. I mean, yeah, it really comes I've seen a lot of independent journalists here.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
I've seen a lot of independent journalists here.
I'm just getting your water.
That people treat fine because they don't like getting people's personal space.
Yeah.
They don't really film faces, and then usually it's fine.
You cool with me filming your face? I film faces.
Yeah, I'm a journalist.
If you're a journalist or if you're an active protester or if you're a provocateur, I film your face.
Sure,
and I'll film the crowd, but if I'm just walking around and you're just chilling yourself, I'll try not to film your face all the time.
There definitely is an element of if you're in a big public space. No, they're aiming again. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna get back a little bit. I don't want to get shot again. That hurt pretty bad when I got shot. I don't want to get shot again. Fucking bird! So, I don't know how long most of you have been watching, but at the beginning of my stream tonight, I was talking about how I didn't believe all the protesters talking about how they were having a hard hand against the journalists. And I almost got arrested and roughed up by a cop earlier. And then I got shot in the foot with some kind of rubber bullet earlier, or just now. So I've been well proven wrong. So for all those out there that think I'm some alt-right troll or provocateur, and I just spinning things, I try to tell the truth as I see it, you know. I'm trying to be as honest and transparent as possible and show these things. So I did almost get arrested just for trying to get the names of people that were getting arrested. And then just walking by filming on the edge of the sidewalk here in front of the Federal Building, I did not get any warning. They just started shooting at me. I don't know if you guys, anybody that was watching during that event, did you hear any police yelling at anything to me before I started getting shot? Yeah, I'm in agreement, Image 011, that the racist word doesn't really mean anything anymore. It's kind of that annoying, kind of provocative meme, like anybody that disagrees with me is whatever ism you want to call them, you know. But no warnings. Thanks, Brian X AOS. Sometimes one thing I've been learning as I've documented these things, like what I think of a situation and how I experience it in real time, sometimes seems very different when I actually look back at my video and watch it. Sometimes I'll think a situation is very, very, very tense, and then it doesn't look that way on camera. And then sometimes I will feel like I won't realize how much danger I'm in, and then I'll watch the video, like some of my Chaz videos. Like I was not very safe in some of those videos. But anyways, so your perception in situations like this are kind of weird sometimes. A Nazi, rub-a-dub-dub, yeah, I've been called a Nazi a million times. I'm 6'2", I'm white, I keep my head bicked because my hair's thin on top, so it's an aesthetic thing. And man, I can't tell you how many times people just start calling me a racist or a Nazi before I've even said anything or done anything. One of my examples, he's throwing a grenade. Did you guys see him throw it? I thought it was a grenade, it was just gas. I should have been filming those guys behind the car. I don't know if they were throwing stuff at him or not. Did you happen to see where those guys behind the car throwing stuff? Or were they just there?
They're just there. I think they provoked them and then
Did you get them on camera shooting me in the foot?
No, I just walked over.
Oh, yeah, I was walking along the edge of the sidewalk and they started shooting me with bullets without letting me know. Sorry, you villain. I would be extra vigilant about your safety. Yeah. It sucks, man. Even though I'm honestly out here trying to like get the honest truth, some people don't want the truth out. And the minute people see me as anything other than leftist, even the slightest bit right, like I start getting groups of people like trying to dox me and trying to threaten me and labeling me a fascist or an alt-right, things I'm not, you know. But anyway. It makes you want to support a group of people when they throw out random accusations that are serious, like free candy. The thing is the more that these people, there's people on the right and the left that do this stuff. People on the right call people perverts and degenerates and snowflakes and idiots just for the simplest things. And people on the left do that as well in their own names. But the thing is people that use those slander and accusation so much is just making those words meaningless. When you get called stuff, it just rolls off your shoulder more and more the more they use that stuff. Yeah. Schecter guitars, that's hard for me to say. Schecter, am I saying that right? What's wedding mean, crazy maid in 68? Are you proposing to me? That's correct, Schecter guitars. Protests are deaf under attack, man. Thanks for spreading the truth. What's up? Racist and Nazi used to be seen as bad as pedophile. Now they have lost their meaning. Yeah. Like racist and Nazi are sometimes synonymous with white. Sometimes they're sometimes synonymous with conservative. Like I know some people are like dead-on centrist, like just like as vanilla as you could be on anything, you know, just middle of the road on everything. And I've seen those people getting called racist and Nazi. Like somebody on my Twitter feed, when I was interacting with all the aftermath of my videos that I put out for the CHOP shooting, somebody started coming after me, calling me a racist. They said that I'm one of those people that doesn't give a damn about Black Lives Matter. Black lives is what they said. I don't give a damn about black lives, and all I care about is white lives matter. And I came back and I was like, you know what? I put myself in harm's way in the midst of it, and I helped organize the medics during that shooting at CHOP, and I carried, along with another white guy, the bloody, riddled body of a young black man into the back of a car. I held him in my lap on the way to the hospital. We met the hospital. We had to stop at the intersection because there were a group of armed, geared up police officers pointing rifles at us. Raz Simone was driving, and so he's a black man driving. He put his hands in the air and just stopped the car because he was a little scared that they were going to start shooting. I stuck my hands out the window and then slowly stood out the window and said, we don't have any weapons, we don't have weapons, we have someone that needs to get to the ER. And then I ran past the police line while they're pointing rifles at me, and I went and grabbed a gurney. The security staff of the hospital usually do that in those kind of situations. They'll bring the gurney out, but they were scared of the situation and they wouldn't move past the officers. So I went past the officer line, grabbed the gurney, pulled the gurney too close to the car, and then me and a couple other people that were in the car picked up the guy's body. He was 14 years old, you guys, and put him on the gurney, and we pushed him to the ER. And I told that to this person that was trolling me on Twitter, saying that I don't give a crap of black lives, and I told them that, and they didn't completely double down on it, but they didn't apologize. They didn't say like, okay, I was wrong about you or anything. They just like found it. I can't remember what they said. They found another way to like just assume that I wasn't very good, you know? It's like, tell me I don't care about people. Tell me I don't care about black people. Like, I think I've earned the right to say that I do, you know? I care about everyone. Nobody deserves to be treated with tyranny or abuse or have unnecessary pain and suffering. So that's my rant about that. I don't know what everybody thinks about that, but nobody gets to tell me I don't care about black people. They can go screw themselves. So these green hats, as I said earlier, they've been at the events recently. They're members of the National Lawyers Guild, and they're out here legally observing.
Trevor out here to make hearts with all the protesters again. Bring out Sergeant Trevor. We want to fucking talk to him. Really? He was so keen to talk to protesters before and make fucking hearts in the fucking fence with them.
Loud lady over here.
Sacred fence. But now he just wants to mace protesters from a foot away.
Were the teams at CHOP actually menacing from the Jeep, or was it purely accidental security fired on them? They were in a stolen Jeep. They stole it that night. There's a report on dailymail.com talking to a black woman that says she was their street sister. So those boys were 16 and 14 years old. I guess they were both runaways, and they were living in a tent at CHOP. And so they stole that car that night. They were out joyriding, and that woman told them that they should come into the CHOP for safety. So I don't know. I still haven't pieced everything together. It's still all kind of confusing. But at one point, a lot of people are claiming that they did a drive-by near the ball field and were shooting. There were shootings happening all through that night for that couple hour or more. And nobody knew who was shooting. Nobody knew why they were shooting. Everybody was confused, and we were running one way and then running the other way. But a lot of people say that they were doing a drive-by out of the white Jeep at the northeast corner of the ball field, which is 10th and Olive. Nobody that I talked to could give me credible evidence. Like they heard that that's what happened, or they think that's what happened, but there's no video of it as far as I know, and there's nobody that had like a solid, like, yes, I saw it happen, that's exactly where it happened. But those boys were driving on the ball field, doing donuts on the ball field. They, many people say that, claim that they got shot at from the Jeep. There were several people that say that the Jeep tried to run them over. And then one thing is certainly true by camera footage is that the Jeep was driving east on Pike Street, and they turned north onto 12th Street. And 12th Street that night was the only place that you could drive through a barrier into the zone in Chaz. Everywhere else in Chaz was blocked off to vehicles. So that was the only entrance. So they came around that corner towards the barrier very, very fast and went through the barrier, and that's when they got open fire on. So
your goddamn salary.
Even if they weren't shooting, they were coming into the area very, very, very fast, and that scared people.
And I'm still out here every fucking
So
night because
some people argue that maybe they were just scared teenagers and they didn't know what they were doing. So I guess what I'm saying is that CHOP security definitely didn't just open fire for no reason at all, and it's still unclear if they were shooting. Another thing is that everybody noticed from the videos after the car was stopped and after the bodies were taken away to the hospital, or some of my video while I'm there, is that all the windows were up because they were shot out during that event. So people point out that there's no way for them to have been shooting really unless they were just shooting through the windows because the windows were up. And I think the footage, the little bit of camera footage from them driving on the ball field, it's hard to tell, but it looks like their windows were up there, possibly. Those police look like they're pointing over at us. No, they're good. I don't want to get shot again, that hurt. But there were no guns found in their car. And I can't think of any reason why CHOP security would want to take their guns away and hide their guns, because that would be evidence in their favor. So that doesn't make sense to me. It looks Again, these are just my thoughts. These aren't conclusions that you need to run with, but it looks like the boys might have been unarmed, at least at that point. It's sad. It's sad. So that was my answer to that question. Raz is hiding because he's afraid of being pinned for those shootings. Probably. I'm sure that most people that were part of shop security. You know, a lot of people that are mad at me from what I heard for filming and stuff. My videos pretty much exclude anybody I saw carrying. Anybody in my videos that has a gun is pretty much proven to not be at the scene of the shooting while it happened. So there's that guy with the AK that I'm following right next to him as I'm coming around the corner in front of the police precinct. He couldn't have been there during the shooting. The two gentlemen, one African-American gentleman that I'm following running through the ball field, one with the rifle and one with the handgun, they were running through the ball field with me while that shooting was happening. So those shots that you hear as we start running and as we're on the ball field are the shots that were shooting up the Jeep. So as far as I know, I don't have anybody on camera with a gun that could have been at that shooting. Let's look through these. Raz is hiding. This way disappeared. Are the teens at shop actually I answered that one. Yeah, white supremacists, agent provocateurs. Rise PDX, what does that mean? Yeah, white supremacists and agent provocateurs, I assume. Image 001, except those false educations can carry into the real world, ending in people being attacked for them. Yeah, that's true. That's true. There was also a golden town car kind of thing, a Lexus or a Mercury. I'm not a car person, but that's what people were saying. Driving around with the lights off and charging towards the barriers of Chaz, like they were going to run people down or run into the area. Nobody knows really what that was. Sorry, my hands are so shaky. I need to get one of those camera
fat fucking fingers.
stabilizers.
I can see your radio.
Stick up for yourself. You don't have to support Black Lives Matter or Marxist group. Yeah, I agree. Black Lives Matter is a Marxist group. You can read their About Me page on their website, and it's almost straight out of the Communist
Do you guys
manifesto.
look out your own windows like that? It's fucking weird.
Are you sitting on your tippy toes, baby?
That's
Where's your blinds so you can part them and look out?
That's Arex calling for Trevor. Loud Lady is Arex, another streamer. Arex was shot by a pepper by a Portland Police Bureau a few nights ago.
Why do half of you smile when you attack us?
Arex.
Why do you get a thrill out of it?
I don't know. She might be cool.
Anal's
I've just
not
never
good
been.
enough for you?
I don't like loud, yelling people very much.
Half of you smile and the other half are
Arex
fucking
antagonizes,
empty.
then gets mad when the police
Like
move in. That's one thing why I
And
started
not even a
documenting all
good
this is because
RoboCop was good.
I've seen a lot of
None
streamers
you
doing
are.
that sort of thing.
None of you are either.
So I don't think they want to be filmed because they're shining these lights at me, but they're streaming, right? So they can get filmed. That's the scooter guy.
As if cops were actually good.
They're listening. I don't care if they're listening. I'm not trying to hide. I'm a pretty transparent person.
Except where's all those good cops with all that good cop technology now?
They stole the car at knife point. I haven't heard that, Toby Flo. Is there if you have a source to that or an article that I could read about that with that point of information, if you could link it to my Twitter at villain_Phoenix, I'd really like to read that. I have. I don't know the whole story. That building is a fascist Nazi.
Took up all of those windows right there.
Yeah. No, I noticed actually tonight's the first night that I think I've
Yeah, Brian XAOS says supposedly they were driving around for hours during the gunfire.
I've been mostly
Maybe not hours, but more than an hour. If you look, I don't have any timestamps on them, but If you look at my last video on YouTube, my most recent one, it's got all my footage. Look at this guy. My last video, my most recent video on YouTube, Villain Phoenix, has got all my footage from the active shooter. So in the beginning of it, I was interviewing a person, and we get interrupted by a lot of gunfire, and it ends with me helping to carry the young boy into the car, and I stopped filming. Wow. Free people chant. People pay their taxes. Schechter, guitars, man. You must be a Nazi, huh? You have conservative opinions. You must be the devil incarnate, aren't you? I wish people would talk to each other more. I wish liberals and conservatives would talk to each other more and just share their streamer behind me. All right, Schechter guitars, 5 a.m. I'm out. God bless you guys. God bless the USA. How late is it? I can't see any of my information on when I got Twitch up. What time is it, people? What time is it in the Pacific Northwest? Dub Step says when he first saw my video, he thought I could have been a cop. Definitely not a cop. I do YOLOs and take a marijuana every once in a while. No, just kidding. I'm trying to sound weird. I know. I actually can't smoke weed. It makes me crazy. But definitely not a cop. Why'd you think I was a cop, Dub Step? I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom of the chat. I think I'm pretty far behind, so no, I wasn't that far behind. No, dude. Questions. Should have linked dodge. Hey, Rex. I think that was definitely on my screen, but I wasn't watching it. I was reading. Did they just throw a flashbang at that guy walking by? Or was that a mortar? Because I was asking so many questions. Yeah, people get sketched out when I ask a lot of questions. I think I'm trying to expose them or whatever. I kind of am, and not in that way, but I'm trying to share their point of view and probe and see what the truth is, you know? You gotta dig a little bit to get to the heart of someone, you know? That Black Lives Matter is being twisted into a right versus left. It's about equal justice for all and dismantling systemic racism and ending police terror. Well, all of those things that you just said, Brian XAOS, are left points of view. Those are beliefs held by people on the left. Systemic racism, police terror, the fact that there's not equal justice. Are left points of view. People on the right don't believe those things. So people on the right don't believe that we live in a horribly unjust society. People on the right don't believe in systemic racism. People on the right don't believe that the police force is a terror organization. So whatever your point of view is, you know, you're saying that Black Lives Matter holds all those things, and it's twisting the left against the right. But those are all extreme left points of view. So obviously those are going to be divisive between the left and the right.
I want to know what he's doing in
Don't take it personally, streamer. I'm not taking it personally. I'm kind of on the middle on some of those things. I'm not far right or far left. But my point is to when somebody holds an extreme point of view and doesn't realize it's an extreme point of view, I kind of try to show what the opposite point of view is so that they can see, you know.
Show us.
Go to the last couple minutes to see Eric's get arrested off her stream. Check that out later. Who's Arex? You're Arex? You're Arex, right? Yeah. People are tweeting out your links to your videos saying that you got arrested. They're trying to get people to watch your arrest video.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did get arrested on the 13th, but I'm not arrested at the moment.
Yeah. I said that you seemed loud to me, so. But there were some people in my stream saying that they liked you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right on.
Other people think I'm really annoying, so whatever.
I don't like yelling, so I'm gonna have
I will yell for you. Don't worry.
Okay.
You fucking like this, you sick
All right, so this is pretty much petering out. There's a couple dozen people left here. I don't think much else is going to happen tonight.
Live rounds? Because you're fucking excited and it's disgusting.
She started whining pretty darn fast, though, considering she had a mouth.
Y'all need therapy.
She ended up here trying to say some likes to me.
Good shot of one exploding right in there. It was pretty amazing.
I think I got a few.
I didn't realize until pretty late on. Like I turned around and I was like the only one standing right there.
Shoot unarmed civilians.
53 of you on here now.
A constitutional right.
To protest
I always think those little tiny bullhorns are funny. They always remind me of that Saturday Night Live skit with the sisters, and the one has really tiny baby doll hands. Little look at it. It's just
I am pretty sure that the dear governor
little tiny bullhorn.
into law a bill that said
I thought they were toys at first before I actually heard that they do.
the ever so lovely
That's weird that he doesn't want to be filmed because he's all covered up
crime weapon known as tear gas.
and he's provocating. Anyway,
That shouldn't even have been allowed.
so you guys that are still watching, what do you think about all my commentary? Do I sound like one of those Nazis? Like, a lot of my opinions are right. A lot of them, I don't think. I have some leftist opinions too, but do I sound like an evil fascist Nazi? I thought that was a cap to one of the projectiles. How come they didn't shoot that guy? He's walking by with a bicycle and not even filming or anything. I get shot for filming. Rise PX, yes, I'm white. Is that the precursor to your answer that yes, I'm racist because I'm white? Grew up in a typical middle class neighborhood? No, I grew up with a single mom, and I grew up in poor neighborhoods, and it was a shitty childhood.
That was a traditional pastime for us around the corner. You'll have this.
Yeah, they already are starting tigering me, but I don't know. I don't want to live my life trying to hide from possible dangers around the corner, you know. I can stand my ground pretty good, so usually in most situations I'm able to talk myself out of the situation. Let's see if I eat those words eventually, huh? And you know what time it is?
2:11.
2:11, thank you. When I was in Rise PDX, it sounds like they're probing me to find any reason to find out that I'm privileged. The area of the country that I went to elementary school had just started desegregating neighborhoods by busing, and so you didn't go to the school because of where you lived. They divvied up neighborhoods and had them bused. Uh-oh, there's a cop point. I want to get over here. I don't want to get shot again. That really hurt. Would I got shot in the face with that thing? I can't imagine what that would feel like. But this guy is canning. I wonder if they're gonna shoot him. So anyways, no, I lived in the poor neighborhood. I didn't go to like an extremely rich school, but all the schools in that area, in that school district, were kind of the same. And they bused an equal amount of people from the poor neighborhoods and the good neighborhoods to the different schools. But I lived in a poor neighborhood. So if you want to find out my situation, no, I'm not going to get into my personal stuff on this stream. Do some other time. Just going to give you my story, but I don't want to do that right now. I have not seen serious racism in my life. No, I've seen a few instances of it, and I'm in the opinion that it's a rare and over-exaggerated thing. I know it happens here in pockets, but I don't think America is very racist at all. And there's a lot of, that people will say like, oh, I can't say that because I'm white, but I get to say what I say. And there's a lot of black people I know, a lot of black celebrities, a lot of black conservatives that say that racism isn't really a thing that is that big of a problem in America. There seems to be something happening out here. I'm gonna go watch over here and see if they're just playing with each other. What is going on? Oh, they're just playing ball. They're just throwing ball around. Like Ja Rule. Not Ja Rule. Is that the guy? Who is it? I'm not a rap music guy. Lil Wayne is on record over and over and over saying that he's never experienced racism. And there's a lot of, like, Morgan Freeman says that we want to end the last bit of racism. We need to stop talking about it. Stop treating each other like a black guy and a white guy. Just start treating each other like people. And I go with what Martin Luther King said and judge people according to their character, not their skin color or their ethnicity. I can tell what's going on here. This car stopped like somebody just offended him or something. I don't know, someone tapped his car or something. Too many of the Portland streamers want to be part of the news instead of reporting the news. Do you think anywhere in America is like that? I interviewed a black man here about a week ago, and he said he moved from, I believe it was Alabama, and brought his kids up here because he just wanted to get away from that life. He mentioned that it was partially because of how blacks were treated down there, but it was also, he said it was partially just because of the generational habits and just the culture of the black community down there. So he said it was like on both sides, but he said he moved away from there to get away from it. So I know there are certain parts of the country that are worse. It's strange that the Pacific Northwest is so extremely liberal and like one of the hotbeds of progression and calling everything racism or racist. So there's so many people here that are of that perspective, But just a couple decades ago, like in the early 90s, Pacific Northwest was actually one of the actual hotbeds of white supremacy. Like a lot of the extreme white supremacist movements and groups were located in these areas, like Tacoma, Washington, and Spokane used to be big white supremacist hotbeds. But I don't know. So it does happen, but I don't think it's a big giant thing. I also don't think that the police are racist KKK Nazis. I don't think that police brutality is, I think it's an exception of the police force. It does happen. I think before all this happened, I was already big against the militarization of the police. I'm a lean libertarian in that I'm not a drug user. I would probably experiment with psychedelics to do the trip more if I didn't have so much risk of getting in trouble. But I don't know if I can go to like a doctor's office or like some kind of clinic and have a trip safely and experience it. I would probably do that. But anyways, I don't think that laws that have no victim should exist. No victim, no crime. I don't think police who's the guy that got killed selling Lucy's in New York? Was that Eric Garner? He was selling loose cigarettes one at a time in New York, and technically that's illegal because you can't be a merchant without paying taxes and having a business license. So they attacked him and they used force until he died. Part of that was his health condition, I don't think a healthy person would have had that much trouble from the force he met, but still, the police enforced a victimless law until a guy died. So that's crazy. So nothing's happening right now. So I'm gonna walk around earlier. I checked this thing out earlier that I thought was pretty cool. And if anything happens, I'll pop off over here. They're shooting at, they're walking up provoking. they're provoking. They have a shield and they're all covered up and they were running towards the federal building. Like,
How do you sleep at night, you fucking pig?
come on. Like, if you do that, you're gonna provoke violence. But anyways, so since nothing's going on too much right now, I'm gonna walk over here and see something that has nothing to do with protests, nothing to do with political, just something I saw earlier this afternoon, that I thought was cool. So if you guys are familiar with the Pacific Northwest, you hear about the tunnels, like the Shanghai tunnels. And what the Shanghai tunnels were is that if you walk on the downtown streets in Portland, you'll see that there are, every once in a while, there's none here, but there's these grids of purple bricks in the ground. And those used to be skylights. They used to be clear, and the sun turned them purple. And then, so what I'm gonna show you is this is the basement footprint. I don't know how much light's gonna be down there if I can do this. But the basement footprint of a building that's been torn down. Do you guys have a flashlight on you? Anybody? Can I borrow your flashlight for a minute? I'm live streaming. I'm just gonna go down in these tunnels down here.
Yeah.
I'll bring it right back to you.
The bright one, you push it, it gets dimmer and dimmer.
All right, thank you. But so the Shanghai tunnels there was all these connected tunnels underneath the street in Seattle. So that was a mortar somebody just let off over there. But somebody took the ladder. There was a ladder over here earlier. I'm gonna hop down in here and I'll figure out how to climb out. Okay. All right, I'm safe. Took the tough tumble. But anyways, these Pacific Northwest big cities had these big tunnels that would run under the city, under the streets and everything, and people could get to different buildings and they could get in different places. And these are these tunnels. They've been walled off in certain spots. So you see I'm down in a 1-story deep basement footprint of an old building. Hurt my hand a little bit when I fell down. And then they've got these brick archways. And so these things used to continue on and you can get to another building. And there was like even unofficial ones. So you see the old shoring there. And then this is like a trap door that goes up to the street where they put garbage in and stuff. And so they had all those tunnels, and there were even ones that were unofficial, that weren't sanctioned by the city. They were just like dug by individuals and kind of like done for shady things. So the reason why they call them Shanghai tunnels is because there were Asian vessels, like shipping vessels, that would come here. And the lore goes that some of the bars, they had trap doors underneath the bar to where if you were sitting at a bar stool, there might be a trap door underneath you. And then if you got drunk and passed out at the bar, like somebody would open up the trap door and you'd slide down a slide and you'd wake up the next day out at sea on like a oriental, it's a term they used back then for Asian people. You'd end up on an oriental ship out at sea and you were basically like a slave until you had worked off your whatever they wanted you to work off. And so that's what the term Shanghaied comes from. Like I got Shanghaied. Like you just woke up on a shipping vessel and you're a slave now. So anyways, that is something I thought was cool earlier. I was just walking by here and I saw this, so I popped down in here. So now I gotta try to climb out of here. Where's that little ladder they had down here? I think I can find that again.
Push that flashlight again, see if it gets brighter.
It gets brighter? I think I was, oh, there we go. So they had a little street sign thing here that was being used as a ladder. I wonder who would have took that. I guess I'll just take this barricade over there. So you hear all that stuff, it's just people being rowdy. They're not interacting. Oh, that's full of water, I can't use that. So let's grab one of these buckets. Kind of trapped down here to some extent. These are all full of rocks, dang it. Okay, I'm gonna have to put the phone in my pocket for a minute while I climb out of this. Did you guys hear everything I was saying? Were you guys able to hear what I was talking about on the live stream? So these tunnels used to be